Holy Jesus. Hey, okay. Going right away. Going right away. Here we go. Welcome back to Talk Live, ladies and gentlemen. Live and in full effect, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just get my Instagram up and running, and we are ready to go. I started a little bit prematurely here, but that's fine. Here we go. Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? Yes, indeed. If you know your hip hop history, you know those lyrics quite easily. So let me go to live here on IG, and let's do it. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live, ladies and gentlemen. We are back and we are live right here on IG and YouTube. And sponsored by DunTalk.com. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. But it's an Arsenal day today since we are indeed um, let me just shut that off there. Oh my god. Right, hold on. Now you want to play. Just 1 second. Now you want to play silly. All right. Unbelievable. Anyways, yeah. Welcome back to Talk Live, ladies and gentlemen, live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We are here and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed, we are actually on time here, running on time with things. Anyway, so yes. Oh wow. Yes. So again, let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday we discussed another huge part of the music industry, that is Drake, and how he can get back on track with things, and and we investigated the actual petition that he filed in Texas court, and yes, that went relatively well. Yes, indeed, it was a good long one. It was about 2 hours in length, and now I don't know why this thing isn't shutting off. There we go, finally. God damn it. Anyways, and now we are here. We are talking about the one and only Jay-Z, ladies and gentlemen, because breaking news over the last few 48, 72 hours. Yes, a lawsuit that was intentioned for Diddy at first has now been broadened to include the one and only Sean Carter, a.k.a. Jay-Z, a.k.a. Hove, a.k.a. One of the biggest names in the hip-hop game over the last 25 years, quite simply. And he is involved in the lawsuit. So we're going to investigate that lawsuit here. Let me go back to the full cam here. I'm going on. Yes, okay, there we go. Let me go to the full cam. Yes, indeed. So we're going to investigate why indeed Jay-Z was included, what the charge entails, and the details of the charge, Jay-Z's response, and public perception thus far. Because again, it is only a lawsuit being filed by the lawyer who is representing 128 of plaintiffs in the Diddy action, and you know what? In order to broaden the dragnet in terms of lucrativity, we are including Jay-Z in this. So again, we're going to explain Jay-Z's part, and if indeed the party is over on behalf of Jay-Z. So again, let's get into it right now. First off, we're going to brief you as to what has happened thus far, ladies and gentlemen, and we are using the one and only CNN, ladies and gentlemen. So let me get this up here. Bang, here we go. Yes, not yet, but we're going to go this way. Yes, indeed. So let's go to the Jay-Z report regarding the accusations made against Jay-Z, which were also made against Sean Diddy Combs. So thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Really want to run through this hour and see where we stand, not only from we're going to get the accuser's point of view, but also the defendant's point of view on this, Jay-Z's point of view and his family's point of view, and also we're going to, you're going to get my point of view on this at the end of the day. So let's get into this right now. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. Let's get into this.
assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was sexually assaulted by both men at a Video Music Awards after party in 2000. In a blistering statement, Jay-Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?" He added, "My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people." Joining us now, Joey Jackson, CNN.
So, just before we get to Joe Jackson, the legal expert on CNN, yes, Jay-Z's response has been swift. So, let it be known, he knew of this charge before it came out to the public, before it came out to the press. And again, his reaction has been very, very swift indeed. And that shows that he was well prepared for said action by the attorney in Texas, of whom name I will get to later into the show. Don't recall it right now, but anyways, but again, this was something that was made clear to him. I would say days, if not months before, and he was allowed to obtain legal counsel and formulate a defense. So let's get into this.
Legal analyst and criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. There's a lot to unpack here. Joey, I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so forceful in its denial. I just read a teeny part of it. It's long, where he says that they should file a criminal complaint. Is that even possible at this point?
So based on the allegations, Jessica, good morning, good to see you. I think that it certainly could be. Why do I say that? Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement. Yeah. He has a family, and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because rape in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint, is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down, raped her, and that, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors. And if true, right, you could pursue it criminally. Now, with respect to evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right, more than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in distress. Number three, that she phone called her dad, who showed up, the 13-year-old, and now removed her. So civil complaint, simply allegations, needs to be proven in a court of law, but if true, it could rise to the level of criminality, and, you know, we'll see what happens if the DA looks and investigates.
So what happens?
So just to stop there for a second, yeah, again, this is a civil suit, so she's looking for compensation. She's looking for money for damages with regards to the alleged the alleged SA in this instance, the sexual assault against her. And that was committed by not only Jay-Z himself, but also Sean P. Diddy Combs, and that's why their actions were conjoined in this instance. And yes, he just laid out to you what was involved here. Basically, she went to a music award show. She tried to get in. She was procured by Sean P. Diddy Combs. They went to a back room. Then the alleged rapes took place with Jay-Z starting, and to finish, it was with Sean P. Diddy Combs. And then she was about to be taken to an after party, but she had left and was picked up by her father. And that event took place in 2000, as was seen here. So about 24 years ago. So it is a high mountain to climb in terms of evidence that is presented to to the court in order to surmount, in order for Jay-Z to be criminally charged. But again, what must be said here is, I think the reason why that this charge was landed in civil court rather than criminal court, even though it was considered a heinous crime, is because the standard of proof is lower in a civil court than a criminal court. And the civil court is beyond reasonable doubt. Is beyond reasonable doubt. And no, sorry. In civil court is by the preponderance of the evidence. So therefore, if the evidence points, if 51% of the evidence points to someone being liable, then they would have to pay compensation. So therefore, it's a 50-50 chance that someone would be able to gain compensation. Where in a criminal court, it's beyond reasonable doubt. So therefore, if a person is charged, they must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they indeed are guilty of any crime that is alleged to them. So I think that's the reason why this action was launched in civil court, because quite simply they have a lower bar in which to surmount, and also for the fact that quite simply, this young lady, now 13 then, now about 37, would receive monetary compensation, which is what she really wants in this action, I believe. And as Jay-Z said, if this crime is so serious, why not get to him in civil court? But as Mr. Jackson says here, if a conviction was I wouldn't say conviction. If there's a judgment reached in the civil case, then therefore it could become a criminal case, as it was in P. Diddy Combs, whereby a civil action by Cassie was launched against Diddy. He settled that civil action. It triggered the U.S. Attorney's Office to investigate P. Diddy, and then criminal action was and then a criminal action was launched against things here. Let me just see what's happening here in the background. Yes, sorry about that. Yes, okay, fair enough. Nothing to see there, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. So we're back. So again, I am, so that's what's happening right now. So I think the reason why this action was launched in civil court, simply because lower standard of proof, and the lady wants to be paid for and compensated for a crime that happened 24 years ago. Now again, in New York State, the lid was the laws were revised and amended to a point where those who were involved in sexual assaults from years ago can renew their claims against their assailants years forward, because of the uprising of Me Too movements, and basically the outrage that was reached in terms of sexual assaults from previous times, and the push by the public to have these assailants be brought to justice in due course. And as you can see, the dragnet is only getting wider with regards to all those assailants. As you saw, Bill Cosby, Jeffrey Epstein, also R. Kelly, now P. Diddy, now Jay-Z. All these celebrities are now being included in this dragnet that have been lasting years, because I would say the groundswell of public opinion, aka the Me Too movement, has moved these challenges forward and has pushed lawmakers to change the laws with regards to sexual assaults and the statute of limitations in terms of sexual assaults, and allowing for those who have been sexually assaulted to bring crimes from years in the past to today's courtroom. So let's continue with this.
Now,
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint, and in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-finding, right? Before that, just briefly, there was a demand letter sent. And a demand letter is a letter being sent by a lawyer saying, hey, I don't have to sue you. We can sit, we can mediate it. If we reach an agreement, it never sees the light of day. Jay-Z saying, I don't care about your demand letter. I look at it as blackmail. You want to sue me, sue me. You want to look at it criminally, look at it criminally, but it'll go through the fact-finding process. If a trial is necessary to determine the facts, that's what will happen, but it'll be deemed civil. No indication at this point as to whether or not any criminal investigation will ensue as a result of this.
Yeah, and
so stop there for a second. Yes, it's very good that he mentioned that. And this is true for most civil actions. Even in personal injury, even in a commercial aspect, in most civil actions, in most civil litigation actions, a demand letter says that's usually the first, the first silo launched by any sort of plaintiff counsel, in that they are asking the defendant to see if they can negotiate some sort of agreement whereby this action does not indeed reach any sort of courtroom, or there has to be any sort of pleadings that have to be launched in order to make this to take this to a trial level. So again, this is totally customary in any civil case, and this could be anywhere in any sort of Western country with regards that follows the rule of law. This again is the first shot that is launched by any plaintiff. They ask for money first. If they don't receive money, then they'll go through the pleadings of launching a statement of claim, and they respond to a statement of defense, and then having some sort of discovery. So there's some sort of examination of discovery, and then they can move forward to pre-trial to trial level. So again, this is totally customary in terms of a civil action. Nothing new to this, but you can see this as a shakedown. This can be seen as a shakedown. They brought this action to Jay-Z saying, listen, if you don't want this to see the light of day, if you don't want embarrassment, if you don't want any damages to your brand, pay us some money and this will go away quickly. Jay-Z, seeing that he has nothing to lose and nothing to fear, and he has done nothing wrong, quite simply, he said, no, bring the action on. I will defend it vigorously because I have not been involved in any sort of rape case. So that's the stage we are at now. The lawyer in Houston, whose name will come to my attention in due course, he has launched his action against Jay-Z, which was included in the P. Diddy complaint, as stated by Mr. Jackson here, and basically, the due process and civil actions will continue as is according to Texas law. There you go. So let's continue.
Jay-Z came back incredibly forcefully against these allegations and really singled out that attorney as well for being, I'm paraphrasing here, but greedy, saying he's out to get money, and calling that letter essentially blackmail.
Yeah, and in addition to that, Jessica, also suing the attorney, saying he's intimidating him, harassing him, etc. Now, demand letters are not new. What lawyers do is they send them out as a matter of protocol and practice so that you can expedite the process. At the same time, there's certain ethical standards that you have to use, and you have to have a good faith factual belief that this is true. Now, you can argue this complaint was filed in October, right? Could have mentioned Jay-Z then. You didn't. Why? It was amended now to include him. Are the factual assertions true? Are they fact or fiction? Is it a money grab or not? All of that will be litigated in a court of law, but according to Jay-Z, this never happened, is pure fiction. It is a money grab, and he's fighting for his name, reputation, and certainly innocence and justice in his view, which is he didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, and you touched
So
on.
there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Well said by Mr. Jackson. This is a matter of protocol. This is a matter of of legal right of the plaintiff. They can ask for money first. Now again, Jay-Z has in turn looked at this and said, you know what, this is blackmail. This is a shakedown. They're asking for money so that this goes away, and he believes he's innocent in this action. And he believes that that plaintiff counsel is indeed an ambulance chaser, for lack of a better word. So we are at a point where the due process will continue. Pleadings will be exchanged, and we will bring this towards a discovery level. So again, this can go forward. This can go forward in for the next I would say 1.5 to 2 years, and see where it ends, or sooner, ladies and gentlemen. So again, Jay-Z has a right to defend himself. He has a right to due process. He has a right to be considered innocent until proven guilty. That is through the criminal mind, but also with civilly, he has a right to defend himself with regards to any allegations against him and any sort of damages that are to be proven against him. So again, it's Jay-Z's doing what he needs to do, and the plaintiff counsel is doing what they need to do. But again, it's easy to see how Jay-Z can consider this gentleman, an ambulance chaser, a man who's in it for the money, and sees a big fish and wants to go after it. So it's very, very easy to see that. Let's continue.
On point two that I wanted to ask you about, which was that this was an amendment to this already existing lawsuit. What are people to take away from that? The fact that they're coming back and adding to this now with this specific name.
Yeah, Jessica, so it depends. That's also common. You could amend lawsuits, right, as a matter of course, and you do, to include certain factual allegations. The interesting thing to me, in terms of your question and the takeaway, if you had this information about Jay-Z, it happened allegedly in September of 2000. Why not include it in the original complaint? What happened between October and now that necessitated you putting in, and it's a question of credibility. Was he celebrity A, right, as was noted in the October complaint? Is this pure fiction? And what's interesting in the complaint is that is the lawyer tries to tie Jay-Z to Mr. Combs in so many ways, right? Birds of a feather is the argument that he's making. You can make that argument. You need the facts to sustain it. Let's see if they come up with any facts.
Stop there. So that's great by Mr. Jackson there, the legal analyst for CNN. And what he brings to our attention is the fact that, yes, why wasn't this this activity conjoined when they launched their civil suit, when Cassie launched her civil suit against Sean P. Diddy Combs in October? Why conjoin it now? Now they have a right to amend their action against Diddy Combs to include Jay-Z, to include Sean Carter. So that's not out of the realm of possibility. But it brings into question how much evidence they do have against Jay-Z, or is it just simply put they want to see if they can, obtain more money from another big fish, that being Sean Carter in this instance. So it is it is something that indeed is serious. This can hurt the reputation of Jay-Z in the long term, and it needs to be litigated to the full extent of the law, and that's what Jay-Z is about to do. Because again, when comparing the two accused in this instance, or in this is the two defendants in this matter, it must be said that Jay-Z's a bit of a bigger fish than Sean P. Diddy Combs in this instance, even though they're two very, very powerful men. But we'll see how things go as we move forward. But again, this is something that can indeed hurt Jay-Z. And contrary to what Diddy did with regards to the Cassie issues, one thing that was on Cassie's side, and more so than this Jane Doe in this instance, is that she had a mountain of evidence, and she compiled, a mountain of evidence against Sean P. Diddy Combs, both video, both video and also in terms of her own testimony, and in terms of, and these were all fresh allegations, fresh accusations that were launched against Sean P. Diddy Combs that she could testify towards immediately. She can swear into court, and as you saw, within 24 hours, that civil suit was settled. But that indeed triggered the U.S. Attorney's Office and asking for because it rose to a level of criminal intent in this instance, and that is what launched the criminal action against Sean P. Diddy Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office. So again, I think the two here are two different levels of things where, in terms of Jay-Z's, in Jay-Z's instance, this action, this sexual assault happened in 2000, 24 years ago. Now again, PTSD aside, it is a long time since that alleged sexual assault happened. So therefore, it's going to be much harder for her to prove than it would have a Cassie. But she has a right to said suit, according to New York law, new amended New York law, which allows for a sexual assaultee to launch a civil/criminal action years after the fact. So thank you very much to Mr. Jackson and CNN for this report, because that, I think, sets the stage for what we're about to discuss tonight. And thank you very much for joining me in Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTLK.com, ladies and gentlemen. And my Arsenal won 3-0. There you go. But let's get on with things here. Let's go to. I want to go to both sides of support here in these next two videos. And so we're gonna take it from Jay-Z's side, and then we're gonna take it from, to a certain extent, the accuser's side, the Jane Doe, who has yet to be named, who has included Jay-Z in this Sean P. Diddy Combs action that was this civil suit that was launched in October of this year. So let's get into it here with regards to a Jay-Z supporter, and that will be namely Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is one of the biggest names in North American sports, especially North American sports comment, and he is now near 1 million followers. So I subscribe to Jay-Z. He's doing wonderful things in the YouTube streets, and within, I would say, just over a year, he's received 1 million subscribers. But again, he has huge platforms with regards to First Take, huge platforms with regards to ABC, and But again, this gentleman is branching out with this Stephen A. Smith site to include not only sports, but also to topics of pop culture, including this one. So again, this is but again, Stephen A. Smith is definitely seen as a supporter of Jay-Z, and it's as it is so entitled in this video. There's no way I believe this. My thoughts on the Jay-Z allegation. So you can see where he's coming from with this. So let's get into this with Stephen A. Smith. Thank you very much for joining me in Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Fair use. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
Gotta get started in the world of music and entertainment, where a new lawsuit this week alleges Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs raped a 13-year-old girl more than 20 years ago after an awards show after party. The suit was filed in New York Southern District. That's the same jurisdiction currently holding Sean Combs in a federal jail on sex trafficking and racketeering charges until his trial this upcoming spring. As for Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, he's denied the allegations, calling them idiotic to say the least. He went on to say the plaintiff's attorney, named Tony Busby, tried to blackmail him in a demand letter sent before the suit was actually filed. Busby appeared on this show in October, if y'all would recall, and told us about a number of alleged victims that approached his office. Take a listen to Mr. Busby back then.
Yes, Mr. Busby here. Tony Busby is a well-known civil lawyer, civil litigator in Houston, and he's the one who's taken up the matter with 128 plaintiffs against Sean P. Diddy Combs, and is the one who included Jay-Z in the action. Tony Busby's the name. Now we have it. And again, Stephen A. Smith's about to go into his interview with Tony Busby. So let's get into it.
These alleged co-conspirators, are they public figures? Are they well-known people in Hollywood, in the music industry? Are they people who worked for P. Diddy Combs? Could you be specific in that regard?
I would say yes to all the above. Yeah.
Yes to all of the above.
All the above. People that names that you would know. Some people names you wouldn't know, but are people that are in management or executive positions. People that were benefiting from this culture that was created. People that were there knowing that this was going to happen. People that actually participated.
Now, here's a portion of Jay-Z's statement issued in the aftermath of news of the suit breaking on Sunday. Quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case." End quote. In addition to the statement, Jay-Z didn't stop there. On Monday, yesterday, his legal team asked the judge to deny a request for the plaintiff to remain anonymous. Jay-Z's lawyer argued that the accuser's decision to file a lawsuit against his client under the name Jane Doe was, quote, inconsistent with a genuine effort to determine the truth or falsity of these allegations as opposed to an effort to procure a quick settlement. His attorneys wanted dismissal of the suit or disclosure of the plaintiff's identity. Basically, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. A couple of things. I don't know Sean Diddy Combs. I've met him on a few occasions. I've spoken to him on a few occasions. I don't know whatever truth or falsehood is associated with his name. I haven't cast any guilt or innocence upon Sean Diddy. I simply reported it. It had Ryan Smith, legal analyst, on 1 minute, Eli Honig, CNN analyst, on another, Ellie Honig, a CNN analyst, on at another occasion, dissecting and analyzing the case against Sean Diddy. The reason why I broached that was because his homes were raided in both Los Angeles and Miami by Homeland Security. News had been percolated, and it was clearly evident that an indictment would be forthcoming, and that clearly they were going to go after Sean Diddy Combs. That is the United States government. Mr. Busby is not that. He is a lawyer. I am not going to sit here and dismiss or excoriate Mr. Busby or his client, who's anonymous at this particular moment in time, and the allegations that she has leveled against Jay-Z. Here's what I will say. I'm broaching this story right now because we're talking about a friend of mine who is Jay-Z, somebody that I've known now for 25 years. And I'm going to state for the record, not calling anybody any names, not challenging Mr. Busby or the accuser, whomever. I'm telling you, I've known this man for 25 years. And I'm saying, for me, Stephen A. Smith, there is no way in hell I believe this about him. The Jay-Z.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. He's come out swinging. He is not pulling any punches here. He does not believe Jane Doe in this action. It is no matter what accusations are thrown against Jay-Z, he is throwing his full support behind Hova. So, and this is based on his 25-year relationship with Sean Carter. So, and he's he has the right to do so. This is not a world where we are to believe all women and their accusations. It is they are to be put to proof. And again, Stephen A. Smith is asking said woman to put those allegations to proof. Now again, as Stephen A. Smith was referring to, P. Diddy. Again, there are two levels here where P. Diddy in his instance, there were there were allegations of freak offs. There was evidence of freak offs. There was evidence of beating of Cassie, aka Cassandra Vasquez, I believe, and again, it was and the evidence there, and the video evidence, the evidence there, the lawsuit that was launched by Cassie, and the Cassie Ventura, there's her name, Cassie Ventura, the evidence that was launched against Diddy, the lawsuit that was launched by Cassie Ventura against Diddy, all these things, and the settlement that he he within 24 hours gave to Cassie Ventura with regards to the crimes against him. It was quite simply huge compared to what's against on Jay-Z's plate here. And again, as Stephen A. Smith already iterated, the criminal action was launched by the U.S. Attorney's Office, aka the federal government. So therefore, and remember, as I stated here on Talk Live before, the U.S. Attorney's Office do not launch actions unless they are going to win. They have a 97% conviction rate. Very, very few defendants get out scot-free once the U.S. attorney is on the case, because the amount of lawyers, the amount of evidence that they would have to build in order to build a case through the U.S. federal court has to be so high that any judge could turn around, can see it and say, you know what, this man is guilty of said charges. So again, we are looking at, in the case of P. Diddy, a very, very, very serious amount of time to be spent behind bars. Where in this instance, this is just a civil matter. It's been launched and by one woman, and Jay-Z's going to defend it vigorously. Whereby, and there are not a lot of accusers of Jay-Z of many things in this instance. This is the first time, of course. This could bring out, you know, the asylum and many other people as well with regards to Jay-Z's actions of the past. However, again, the freak-offs, the baby oil, the videos, the co-conspirators are not as vast, are not as large in this case as it was in P. Diddy's case. So again, you know, Stephen A. Smith has a right to defend him whether he had a mountain of evidence or not, but it is clear that you're dealing with two different defendants in these actions, let alone this conjoined action. Let's continue.
That I know is the Jay-Z that I've seen around teenagers, and he doesn't even want us playing the kind of music we kind of listen to in hip-hop. He made us turn it off. That dude who was in concert in 2004 performing alongside R. Kelly, who he grew to dislike a lot, particularly because of the allegations that were leveled against him, who found things like that despicable and abhorrent. Anybody that's been around Jay-Z and knows him has seen him come to the defense of the most helpless amongst us, which are the children. I can't believe for 1 second that he would ever be associated with an allegation like this. And I felt it was important to bring that up because you got people out there. Stephen A., you have something to say about Diddy. Why aren't you going to have something to say about Jay-Z? Well, I don't know Diddy. I've met him a few times, talked to him a few times, absolutely. But I've known Jay-Z for 25 years. I don't believe it. Now, that's as far as I can go because, again, if you can't provide eyewitness evidence to refute the allegations that have been levied against anyone, it's irresponsible to go over the airwaves and go any further than that. It is not irresponsible to point out who a friend of mine is. Somebody that I've come to know and love and don't believe for 1 second would be capable of such a thing. That's not irresponsible. That's love right there. because of what you know about a person, based on your personal interactions with them, along with the people that have been around them. I don't believe it. And
So again, Stephen A. Smith can be considered a character witness, ladies and gentlemen. He totally and vehemently denies that Jay-Z could be capable of such things, such as rape in this instance. His relationship with Jay-Z going back 25 years. Again, as he stated, he would not allow for his music or anybody else's music to be around children. He is a man who is one to protect children at all costs, and has a child himself. But again, the same can be said about Diddy as well. He had 4 children as well. But then again, he went to debaucherous lengths in order to satisfy his sexual urges. But again, it's again, to just because you're associated with P. Diddy in certain circumstances doesn't mean that you are indeed the same individual. And that is being stated out by Stephen A. Smith himself. He totally cannot believe that Jay-Z would sink to the depths of being involved in an essay with a 13-year-old girl, and he will be he is considering he can be considered a character witness with his past dealings and past friendship with or acquaintanceship, if you wish, with Jay-Z. So again, it's a high mountain to climb, people. And again, Stephen A. Smith does not believe what Jay Doe has to say. Let's continue.
And I'll tell you what also made me comfortable enough to come on the camera and say this to all of y'all. That quote that Jay-Z gave. Put it up there again, because I want the audience to see it again. I want to read the quote to you, okay? These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Bam! What he's saying is, let's go. Let's go to court. Who is she? I got children at home. Beyonce's my wife. You think I'm going to let you talk about me like that when I got to explain to my children, your dad is not a rapist? You think that's a conversation that I want? You think I'm going to let that slide? That's what Jay-Z is saying. I have not spoken to him since these allegations have come down. Again, I was in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi. Not that the phones don't work there. I just haven't spoken to him about it. But I'm telling you what my personal belief is. Rape? First of all, I wouldn't believe that. Secondly, a 13-year-old? No. And I understand that everybody in this day and age got to be careful about where you go and what. I got that. I understand it. We weren't eyewitnesses. We can't castigate the accuser. We can look at the lawyer as an ambulance chaser because he's pursuing a civil suit which involves money as opposed to a conviction that'll send you to jail. I get that. But I'll be damned if you could be friends with somebody for over 20 years with a platform like I have and various others have, and not at least acknowledge the person that you know and the person that you've been around and the person that you've spoken to, that you've come to love, you don't believe is capable of something like that. I don't think it's a crime. It's not a crime to say that. Now again, we'll find out more, and the story probably won't go away. But the number one reason I felt comfortable enough to come out and say what I said is because of that quote. Put it up there one last time. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that was the case. And then after that, the brother is pursuing her identity. Let's go. It happened more than 20 years ago, allegedly. You weren't an adult then. You're clearly an adult now. If it happened over 20 years ago, that would leave you in your 30s. I don't know. I'm saying to you, again, the allegation is about what happened to a child. But that child, once upon a time, allegedly has now come forward as an adult. I'm going to go right or left, whatever way you want to take it, by getting a little bit political here.
Before it gets a little political, let's break what he had to say down, because again, he came with the fire. He came with the consummate, the well-known, the world-renowned Stephen A. Smith's fire, and that is this. And what he has to say is absolutely true. If he challenged Jane Doe to, number one, reveal herself, and number two, to file a criminal complaint, to file a criminal action. If these crimes are indeed so heinous, if you were so aggrieved by the sexual assault, why are you seeking a civil rather than a criminal one? The same can be said, about Cassie. The same can be said about Cassie, even though, yes, indeed, there is a mountain of evidence against Diddy, but Cassie decided to file a civil rather than criminal action because it's more important for her, I believe, in this instance, to be paid rather than to punish. It's much better for Jane Doe to be paid rather than to punish. And the same can be said for Diddy. Cassie wanted to get paid, but then again, she was convinced convinced to file a criminal action as well. So, in this instance, it's 24 years later. You had all the time in the world to lodge a criminal action. You chose to do it now, in the face of the charges going against Diddy and conjoining the actions of Diddy in this instance. And again, Jay-Z offers himself to the pulpit. He said, literally, listen, if I have done made such a grievance against you, launch a criminal complaint. Come at me. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready to defend myself. Because I don't believe, he believes that if I had done something so heinous, I should go to jail. He said I should literally go to jail. And that's about as fair as you can be for any accusations against yourself. He said, listen, if I did these things, send me to jail. Bring the proof and send me to jail. But, again, it's a bit fishy for a woman to not name herself, and two, decide to launch an action civilly rather than criminal. Especially for a sexual assault. I'll let Stephen A. Smith continue here.
When you think about the election that has transpired and some of the things that have transpired in our society, when we talked about woke culture, it wasn't just about transgender or other issues involving whether it's the LGBTQ community or whomever. It was also about America being a society that once upon a time presumed you innocent until proven guilty, and how that has now changed. Careers and livelihoods have been compromised over sheer accusations. And so you're going to have people who are salacious enough to point the finger at Jay-Z, and then you're going to have others that will go in the opposite direction. But be clear, this ain't P. Diddy. Homeland Security didn't raid Jay-Z's home. He wasn't charged with multiple felony accounts that can land him in jail for the rest of his natural life. He has been accused by a plaintiff who's hired a lawyer in pursuit of civil retribution 20 years after the fact. That's not P. Diddy. This is different. And all I'm going to say is, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. None of you were there or whatever. But if people can look at this and say, hey, I think he's guilty, then we also have the freedom for some of us to look at it and say, you got to prove that to me because I can't imagine he would be guilty of such a thing. And that's where I'm coming from.
Thank you very much for Stephen A. Smith there. Yes, very, very forthright and, how should I say, it's forthright and committal and, strong words on behalf of Jay-Z here. He's basically asking Jane Doe to put herself to proof. Basically telling the world that Jay-Z is not the same as P. Diddy. Even though they ran in the same circles, even though they were acquaintances / potentially friends, the fact of the matter is there are two different people. And if you cannot paint both of these people with the same brush, Stephen A. Smith is saying here. And it's up to her to put that to proof. Because, and remember, these allegations go back 24 years. This isn't in the case of Diddy where freak-offs were happening in that time. Many people were sexually assaulted in this time, men and women. You have video evidence of this. You have other bits of circumstantial evidence, such as baby oil, involved in this. You have a key witness who has confessed to. Now, again, this is where things can get murky here as well, because if this civil suit rises to the level of a Sean P. Diddy Combs action, and she is asked to testify on behalf of the U.S. Attorney's Office, yes, it can get to that level. It can get there. However, there is a whole mountain to climb in order to get there as well, because the U.S. Attorney's Office isn't going to take anybody's case just off rip. They needed to have serious levels of evidence and also eyewitness statements and affidavits to go forward with such an action against P. Diddy Combs. And it remains to be seen if it will happen in this one. But thank you very much to my man, Stephen A. Smith, for bringing his thoughts to the fore in this instance in support of Jay-Z. And please like and subscribe to Stephen A. Smith if so inclined, for he's doing wonderful things in the YouTube streets, quite simply. Now, let's get to the other side, because I believe that both sides need to have their say. As they say, not only in the court of law, but in the court of public opinion as well. So let's get into this with regards to this. Let me tell you this. This YouTuber, Amala Ekpunobi, this girl is doing massive things in this YouTube. She's one of the biggest, the biggest streamers of public opinion with regards to YouTube. Period. She's at 2.2 million subscribers, ladies and gentlemen, and she is seen as more of a, how should I say? I would say red pill, but more of a conservative, more of a traditional conservative mouthpiece, very much male-centric in her activities. But again, she's a straight shooter when it comes to such things as sexual assault and any sort of R word accusation. So let's get into this. And thank you very much for joining me in Talk live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Shout out to Lana, shout out to DJ Wayne, and all those who are out there listening in. Let me see if there's anything here on the other side. We are good to go. Yes, we are. Oh, Brandy or Aaliyah, who is more beautiful? Brandy. Okay, fair enough. Angel Holy. Yeah, I would say, well, Brandy? No. When it comes to Brandy or Aaliyah, I would definitely say it is Aaliyah. Aaliyah was just, man. Tell you what. But we're going to get into her a little bit later. But I think we'll get into her, either now or a little bit later. So let's go back here, indeed, to Amala Ekpanobi and her video. These new Jay-Z allegations are wild. And this is more leaning towards the Jane Doe side of the action here. So let's get into this. Thank you very much for joining me in Talk Live. Let's hear what Amala has to say. Let's go.
In what is a civil lawsuit on behalf of this 13-year-old. Now, this is a crazy story. This 13-year-old, I guess, lied to her parents about where she was at this night, and she wanted to be at the VMAs. So she rolls over to the Radio City Music Hall. This is in New York City, where the VMAs was being hosted, and she's like trying to get into the VMAs, She can't get in. She's going up to limo drivers and trying to shoot her shot, which at 13 years old, what the hell are you doing at the VMAs? I guess it was a different time.
Stop right there. Yes, indeed. What the hell is a 13-year-old girl? That is yet to be dealt with here on Talk Live. What the hell is a 13-year-old girl doing out at the VMAs? Where are her parents in this instance? Why the hell is she out late? Period. She couldn't be no older than in grade 7. What is she doing out that late trying to get into the VMAs? Where is the parental guidance and parental control in this instance? That needs to be said. She's going out looking for trouble with a flashlight, ladies and gentlemen, and the parental guidance in this instance, the parental control in this instance, dropped the ball quite simply. And that needs to be stated here because she has no business going to the VMAs at 13, let alone 18, 19, 20, or above, if you are not ready to handle what comes with said industry parties, said industry events. Let's continue.
She ends up talking to a limo driver, discussing her plan, what she's trying to do. And apparently this driver was like, hey, Diddy likes young girls. I'm paraphrasing here. And you're exactly perfect. Perfect for the job here. And that's how she ends up getting exactly what she's wanted here. She goes to this after party hosted by P. Diddy. And
remember what's been said here. Diddy likes them young. So you'll be perfect to join in. Maybe in 7th, 8th grade. But hey, Diddy likes them young. Allegedly. Let's continue.
She's there with Sean Diddy Combs, Sean Carter, who we know as Jay-Z, and Celebrity B, which is this female celebrity. She is given alcohol and, stuff to drink. Now, she mentions feeling woozy after having taken this drink. We don't know whether or not she was drugged or not. She was placed in a room. Sean Carter, Sean Diddy Combs, Celebrity B come into the room. Sean Carter apparently is the first person to rape this 13-year-old girl. He does what he does. Sean Diddy Combs subsequently does the same, and she details a pretty violent encounter. She is thrown up against a wall, thrown onto a bed, violated by both of these men, and then Sean Diddy Combs becomes more aggressive with her, trying to get her to do other sexual acts. apparently, at some point during this altercation of him trying to get her to do other sexual acts, she gets up, she hits Sean Diddy Combs, she runs out of the room, and then makes her way out of this party, if that's what we want to call it. So that's what's written here, and this is a civil lawsuit. I am questioning why this is not a criminal case. I don't know the exact statute of limitations in New York City for criminal prosecution of these cases, but I believe she falls within the category of being able to criminally prosecute this allegation against these two men. But I'm sure they make their decisions on that maybe based off of the evidence that they have against them, how likely they feel they're going to get a winning verdict on the other end of these cases, but something to look into there. Now, Jay-Z has responded to these allegations.
Okay, just before we get to the Jay response, which we already know about quite simply. It's all, we've already explained this on Talk Live. She's allowed to sue under civil law through the extension of the statute of limitations with regards to sexual assault. And so, we are where we are right here. We'll be right back here into the second hour of Talk Live. So thank you very much for joining me. Signing out here on Instagram, but we'll be back in the second hour here on Instagram coming soon. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Yes, we are back on Talk Live, live on IG, YouTube. Yes, we are back here on Talk Live, live on IG and YouTube. On IG, back on IG for the second hour here. We are just talking with Amala Ekpanobi, one of the big YouTube podcasters here on YouTube, and she's discussing her take on the Jay-Z civil action launched in Houston by lawyer Mr. Ekman. One second. Oh my God. I gotta write this name down here. Jesus. Let me just get him. There we go. Right here. Yes, indeed. Let me just do that. Yes, Troy Busby. Thank you very much. Launched by Mr. Busby. And we're just continuing what Amala Ekmanobi has to say about this. And again, she's getting into the civil suit and her take on the action itself. Let's continue.
In a statement, it says, my lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. And Tony Busby is constantly circulating around these PDD allegations, so you will see his name quite a bit. What we had calculated was the nature of these allegations, and the public scrutiny would make me what he had calculated, was the nature of these allegations, and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one.
Okay, let's move a little further on.
Age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and human spirit. My heart and support goes out to true victims in the world who have to watch what their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. You have made a terrible error in judgment, thinking that all celebrities, he puts in air quotes, are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the projects of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have a very strict codes and honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics, will believe this idiotic claim that you have levied against me. And let's see, if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. Now, Jay-Z. We're going to take his statement. So he thinks this is BS. He thinks this person is going out for money. Now, interestingly enough, in this statement, he only addresses Tony Busby. He does not address the alleged 13-year-old victim. She's not 13 now, but the alleged victim who was 13 at the time. Interesting that he doesn't address her, doesn't call her a liar, doesn't really call her out directly and say that she is sort of costuming these allegations and speaking on behalf of actual victims of crime. So I noticed that immediately. What an interesting person to go after.
Because, quite simply, it's a no-win situation. Why would you go against the young, now 30-odd-year-old, but then 13-year-old woman? It makes no sense to you to do that because you would not gain the sympathy of the public for you to go against a Jane Doe. It's been seen time and time again that if you launch an attack against a young woman, let alone a woman, that you will be vilified in public. So this is a strategic move made by Jay-Z to attack the action, not the girl. Very smart in his behalf because, quite simply, he doesn't want to have to deal with the backlash from women's groups stating that he is, that he hates women. Smart idea on the part of Jay-Z. Don't attack the woman, attack the action. Don't attack the woman, attack the lawyer who launches the action. You would be seen in a much better light than if you do go against the woman, because in this day and age, going against a woman is a zero-sum game, and you're liable to lose anything in the court of public opinion. Very smart, strategic move on the part of Jay-Z and his legal counsel. Don't attack the woman, attack the action itself. We have a comment here from Gisato. Jay-Z, better known as Gay-Z, is a weird Negro, just like Diddy, even more so than to say Negro, please. Listen, these are allegations that you're engaged in, Gisato. I understand that you may not like Jay-Z, quite simply, but the fact of the matter is, where is the evidence to back this up? There hasn't been out there. It's not out there. It isn't. Random people have said random things, but they can't put said action to a civil or a criminal complaint, to a civil or criminal action. So until said things are done, calling him Gay-Z, it can be seen as slanderous, and you could be sued for that. So I, my friend, would, cease and desist from making such wild, as they say here, allegations. Let's continue.
In Tony Busby, rather than the woman who is bringing about these allegations against you. Now, I do not know what happened between Jay-Z and this alleged 13-year-old at the time. I do not know that Jay-Z was involved in this crime. But here are a few things that I can tell you about Jay-Z and about the company that he keeps. Sean Carter is a big fan of Sean Diddy Combs. They've spent quite a lot of time together. And if you look at Sean Diddy Combs' past, his present, the many allegations levied against him, it does seem a little bit unfathomable to think that many surrounding him did not know that this was taking place, and in particular, Sean Carter. But that is simply speculation. Now, as far as Jay-Z and his involvement with other people who seem to love predatory behavior, Jay-Z has also had a pretty close relationship with R. Kelly. And we all know what happened with R. Kelly and the many allegations levied against him and the many crimes that he committed, including having CP, including what he did to Aaliyah, whom he married when he was in his 20s and she was 15, okay? So this was widely known, widely addressed within the music industry, and at the time, Jay-Z was working quite closely with R. Kelly. And even after the many charges laid against R. Kelly, Jay-Z would work with him after that. So please explain to me how you keep such close company with men who are acting in this predatory way. That is what I really want to know. Now,
stop there. Now, Amala is going down the guilty by association approach. If you know Diddy, and if you know R. Kelly, and you've worked with them in the past, and you've been seen in public with them in the past, therefore, you must be involved in the shenanigans they were involved in. You must be raping and sequestering and doing all these little things that that R. Kelly and Diddy were doing, quite simply. It is, and that's dangerous, quite simply. It's dangerous for a person. See, this is where guilt by public opinion comes in. Now, again, I think Amal's a very smart lady, but in this instance, I think she is going down the the non-legal court of public opinion, quite simply the scandalous slash gossip argument that just because you know these people, just because you work with these people, means that you do what they do. And that is dangerous. That is very, very dangerous. That the fact that just because that Jay-Z has worked with R. Kelly, Jay-Z has worked with Jay-Z has worked or was acquaintances with P. Diddy, that he is doing the same thing, and that's very, very problematic. To be fair, so that needs to be sussed out. Now, this is coming from a lady who, indeed, usually, and I repeat, usually, can see the forest for the trees, and can does her due diligence with regards to accusations in terms of any male accused of any sort of SA or R or any sort of besmirchment to their reputation. She has not done it here. She is swinging for the fences, quite simply based on circumstantial evidence, which is dangerous in and of itself. We have Gizato here. Come and get me, Gay Z. I'm not scared. Okay, well, that is, you're entitled to your opinion, Gizato. As always, you're entitled to your opinion. Let us continue with what's going on here, and. Let me go back here. Bang. Just checking to see if there's any other YouTube comments, but there is not, so let's continue.
It could be that birds of a feather do not flock together, and he had no idea what these men were doing. Or, he was privy to the marriage to a 15-year-old. He was privy to his sexual exploits. He was privy to Sean Diddy Combs' sexual exploits, but he simply did not engage, He just sat on the sidelines like a good little choir boy and decided he was going to do nothing. Although we do have stories that sort of point to the contrary. And here's the tricky thing with Jay-Z is you see these things that are sort of popping up, and then you sort of put the numbers together, you put 2 and 2 together, and you think that seems plausible. And then the person you're basing the story off comes off and says, oh no, these are just rumors. I'm going to bring up first Foxy Brown. I mean, it's alleged by many a person within the industry, including some allegations that people have put out in diss tracks, pretty prominent rappers against Jay-Z, that Jay-Z had a sexual encounter with Foxy Brown when she was a minor. Now, Foxy Brown sort of throws out these rumors and says that did not happen, but I'm just looking at the tea leaves here and thinking things are very much lining up for these things to make sense.
Okay, you see, now she's going about things in a circumstantial way. Foxy Brown has come out to say, indeed, I wasn't involved with sexual relations with Jay-Z as a 15-year-old. She's not believing that. She's saying, well, you were alleged had a sexual experience with Jay-Z, so you must have been a minor to do so. That is, again, very, very problematic, to be fair. To form your opinions on allegations rather than facts. It's very, very problematic, but I'll let her continue.
Now, outside of Foxy Brown, we look at Beyonce. Now, when you look into Jay-Z's relationship with Beyonce, she's alleged time after time that they met when she was 18 and then did not begin dating until, like a year and a half after their meeting at 18. But in a, 2007 interview with Charlie Rose, Jay-Z said that he met Beyonce 10 years prior. 10 years prior would have been 1997. Beyonce would have been 16 years old at the time that she met Sean Carter. So how is that lining up? And it's pretty convenient now that the story that Beyonce tells is that they met when she was 18, didn't end up dating until later. That really works out as far as the criminal timeline of his involvement in her life. Now, I have no idea what the real numbers are, when they really met. With Beyonce's just what shall I call it? Her dedication to sticking by this man. She gonna stand beside him, 10 toes down beside Jay-Z. It makes me think: was she groomed? Did she meet a much older man when she was 16 years old, who introduced her to the industry, who sort of helped her earn her stripes at a very young, impressionable age, who maybe started a sexual relationship with her? Who knows when? I don't know how old she would have been at the time. This is simply speculation. And maybe that's why she is stuck beside this man. Has she maybe seen some pretty horrifying behavior on this man's behalf with his friends? Does she know the inner workings of this industry, which we're sort of figuring out now is like a mob? It's like the mafia in the music industry right now. Did she see all that? Was she participating in some of that? I don't know. And maybe that's why she is sticking beside this man through everything that he has done. We used to all think Beyonce's biggest problem with Jay-Z was that he cheated on her. And now these allegations paint a very different picture of their relationship. And I see a lot of you saying 99 problems for Jay-Z. Yeah, it's going to be 101, okay, when this is all over and said and done. Because if what this 13-year-old victim, the victim who was 13-year-old at the time, if what she's saying is true, I don't think this is going to be a one and done situation. If what she's alleging actually happened, there will be more victims. There will be more people who came across P. Diddy, of course, came across Sean Carter, if he was in close involvement with this sort of criminal network that we're now coming to find he was building out, and the crimes he was perpetrating against these victims are just sort of existing in this web with many other celebrities' names being woven through it. There's going to be more. We're going to hear more. And we said this when we started covering P. Diddy. The name that I'm hearing the most after Sean Diddy Combs is Sean Carter, is Jay-Z. I mean, just look up the photos of these two together. And of course, we can't make accusations based on those photos. But you can certainly go, oh, how much did you know? What's going on? I'm listening.
Okay, we're going to stop there for a second. Now, she said a lot there. Amala said a whole lot. Now, let's get back to the whole Beyonce accusation. The Beyonce history with Jay-Z. Beyonce, indeed, started dating him when she was very young. I believe she was married to him at 21 years old, I believe. But let's say this. Jay-Z likes ladies young. It's not a crime. It's not a crime for men to like ladies young. Most men like ladies, find ladies most attractive between the ages of 19 and 24 years old. No crime. That's no crime. Just because you marry a 19-year-old doesn't mean you are icky, doesn't mean that you are gross, doesn't mean that you are a predator. And the fact that Beyonce is stuck with him all these 21 years, he thinks that she's part of a mob and part of a mafia and part of a coven, part of Illuminati, part of the secret society that would, and she's seen too much and done too much not to be put out there for falling foul of said society. The fact of the matter is that Beyonce was a child of a two-parent household. Beyonce saw a marriage done right for many years. Could it be that she saw a confident, intelligent, assertive man who was making his way in the world and became one of the biggest names in entertainment and knew that she couldn't get another Jay-Z and wanted to stay with him? Yeah, that's plausible too. That's very, very plausible indeed. There is no other than Jay-Z. Beyonce realized this, and to wit, she decides to, you know what? I'm sticking by this man because there's no other man like him. Could that be argued? Absolutely. She had kids with this gentleman. Blue Ivy, as was seen on the red carpet for the new Mufasa movie. Another child. I think it's Brooklyn. Is it Brooklyn Carter? I think it's Brooklyn. I got a name. Let me see. Look at the names of Jay-Z's two kids here. Let me see. Jay-Z. There you go. Blue Ivy. Blue Ivy's one child, and Jay-Z children. I think it's Brooklyn. I think it's Brooklyn Carter. I think it's Brooklyn. Blue Ivy, Sir, and Rumi. Sorry. There you go. The twins. Sir and Rumi. Sorry about that. But yes. Those are the three children. She had 3 children for the man. 3. Is the man a monster for having 3 kids with him? No. He's not a monster. He's a man who can protect and provide with the best on earth. Why would she not? Why would she want to leave that? She found in him what her father was. A man who does what he can for, who does his utmost for his family, protects and provides them to the greatest degree. And she fell in love with that man. What's wrong in that? Don't, instead of seeing things so creepy, oh, he took a 19-year-old and he was 37. That's always the female trope. Why can't a man of 37 take a wife of 19, 20 years old if he has proven himself to be a true husband? And that is something that is the red pill side of things, is that a lot of ladies don't get the fact that, you know what, this guy, she fell in love with the man who he was. He was a man of means. He was a man of power and influence. And she fell in love with that. What's wrong with that? What is indeed wrong with that? But again, ladies always get the other side of the stone. Oh, well, you know, all your friends had young ladies. Because they can. Because those young ladies were attracted to power and influence themselves. Why do you think all these 19, 20-year-olds want the man who has a rule of 6? That's what Jay-Z is. Exactly what Jay-Z is. And yet he's considered creepy because his means allows him to have the best. Make that make sense. Anyways, let's continue.
To rap lyrics now, and I'm like hearing disses that involve things that shouldn't be happening, shouldn't have happened, and now we have this allegation. So is Jay-Z on the chopping block? And if so, it's like, okay, so many people knew this was going on. So many music executives knew that this was going on. So many people at their abundant record label knew that this was going on. And many of the elites around them were also engaging in criminal activity with minors, as it's made abundantly clear in just simply looking this over. Allegedly. Are these just like patsies? Are we just getting the people who they're comfortable, like, letting out and, you know, bringing down for this? And it has maybe enough shock value for the public that you go, oh my gosh, Jay-Z, we got him. Oh my gosh, P. Diddy, we got him. Let's turn a blind eye to the fact that there's also a female celebrity B, and there's celebrity, you know, D, E, F, G, all the way down, you know, these many accusations levied against these men. It's kind of like the Epstein problem. You know, you get the guy and people feel so just in shock, in awe of what they've discovered, and then you forget the little black book and the flight logs and all this information about other people who knew this was going on. And I say what I'll say every time we cover these cases: if we truly knew every single person that was involved, there'd probably be like no music industry. It'd be gutted. It would be gutted. You know, like law enforcement would be gutted. The judges, the legal system would be gutted. And I'm not saying that every single person within the music industry is a criminal who is assaulting children, but it's enough to make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and it's enough to make you think this is a network. This is a crime network. This is a mafia. This is a mob of people just working together and gaining information and blackmailing each other. And then you have to wonder, like, are these people feds? What's going on? Lots to unpack here.
Stopping there again. Amala is very, very much tradcon in her viewpoint. So she is very, very distrustful of anything of Hollywood elites or Hollywood period. She's a conspiracy theorist. She's always said that, you know, this is a secret society. This is a brood unto itself. This is a this is the mafia. This is a crime. This is a Hollywood's is an extended crime family, quite simply, who have things on each other and literally yeah have everyone sworn to secrecy in terms of any sort of activities that go on, unless they the higher ups, the powers that be, want these people to be made an example of. Now, in this instance, with regards to Jay-Z, I still say it remains to be put to proof. These allegations that are out there, and it's up to Jane Doe to show indeed that these actions 24 years ago are worthy of a lawsuit, worthy of criminal prosecution if necessary. And again, there are, and unless we can see ourselves that Jay-Z is indeed has indeed sexually assaulted this woman and cannot provide evidence to the contrary, then he is up to the court of public opinion, and he should be liable for any damages that happened to Jane Doe. But again, this is something that happened 24 years ago, so it's a very, very high burden of evidence for her to clear in order for her to get said money. So it remains to be seen. But again, Amala is showing her true colors here in that she is really very skeptical, very very side-eyed, very just very weary of any sort of activities that happen in Hollywood, let alone with the elites. And it's showing here because she, for lack of a better word, is indeed a TradCon female. So again, anything involving Hollywood, she would be absolutely suspicious about. But the same could be said about the Washington elites as well. Let's continue.
I first thought, like Jay-Z and Beyonce, two kind of untouchable. They're like that untouchable couple within the music industry, just like within the world at large. It seems like this is a household name that you would just never really expect any of them going down. And they might not. This is a civil lawsuit at that. So, we'll see. I would have hoped that just criminally, in every single case that you could possibly go after these guys, if the allegations are true. Criminal suit. But that is the update on Jay-Z. He's denying it with every breath within him and saying that this is just a ploy to blackmail, I guess.
There we go. Thank you very much to Amala for that. Again, she's very much TradCon, very much TradCon being traditional conservative, and she is one who finds Hollywood and its elites and its couples and everything that goes on in Hollywood quite suspicious, if not fictitious. But we're gonna get into this new video here. Yes, indeed. By Maddie, I think it's Maddie Balls. Yes, indeed. A very, very good video, in fact, showing the background between Diddy and Jay-Z, and how indeed these two can come together with regards to the allegations made against both in the same criminal lawsuit. Through this video, every allegation against Jay-Z explained. Now, we have featured Maddie Balls here before. He's doing wonderful things in YouTube streets. Please like and subscribe to him. And again, it's a fantastic video, and I think it gives a more balanced view of what has gone on here, and it doesn't take sides in the issue. So I'm very, very much want you to hear this. Please like and subscribe to Maddie Balls. It's fair use, fair use, fair use. Let's get into this video.
serious allegation was made against Jay-Z in a lawsuit filed a couple of days ago. From a quick and heated response from Jay himself to tons of fans bringing up all of the weird circumstances surrounding Jay-Z over the years, it can be very confusing to separate facts from theories. So today I'm going to be breaking down all of the formal allegations against Jay-Z, along with his response and the theories from the fans. It all began on December 8th when a lawsuit against Diddy was amended and Jay-Z was named as a defendant. If you've been out of the loop for the past year or so, P. Diddy, aka Sean Combs, has been accused, sued, and indicted because of a lot of terrible things. I made an entire video on it detailing all of the allegations against him, so you can check that out if you need to catch up. But put simply, Diddy was allegedly a serial rapist, tried to blow up Kid Cudi's car, and has a laundry list of crimes, mostly sexual, that date back decades. So obviously, if Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, is being named in a lawsuit alongside Diddy, that can't be a good thing. According to CNN, the woman, who is identified as a Jane Doe, says she was 13 years old at the time she was allegedly assaulted by Combs and Carter at an after-party following the Video Music Awards in 2000. The woman alleges she began to feel woozy after consuming a drink at the party and wandered into a nearby bedroom. The woman alleges Carter raped her first, followed by Combs. The woman says she hit Combs and ran out of the party, according to the amended lawsuit. NBC said that the girl was dropped off by a friend at the VMAs, but she didn't have a ticket. Apparently, she tried to find a way to an after party, and a driver who said he worked for Diddy said that she fit what Diddy was looking for. So he took her there, and allegedly she even had to sign an NDA to go into the after party, but she never got a copy. After the incident, the girl ran to a gas station and called her dad. So basically, Jay-Z is being accused of being a 13-year-old girl back in the year 2000. Then the lawsuit said that the woman's legal team reached out to Jay-Z to try and resolve the problem. Jay-Z responded to said letter by not only filing an utterly frivolous lawsuit, but by also orchestrating a conspiracy of harassment, bullying, and intimidation against her lawyers, their families, employees, and former associates in an attempt to silence her. They said that the effort to scare the alleged victim didn't work, and they plan to continue with the lawsuit. Also, the reason that all of these lawsuits have been coming out lately, out of New York in particular, is because New York recently extended their statute of limitations. What that means is that a crime that happened a super long time ago wouldn't have been able to be prosecuted, but now since they have a 2-year look-back window, you can file a lawsuit. I explained this in my previous video about Diddy because he's got hundreds of suits against him right now, but that's why all of these lawsuits have been coming out lately. The lawyer filing the suit against Jay-Z is also the guy who you may remember announced he was representing 120 new victims against Diddy. He said high-profile names would be named once he had enough information, and I suppose now he thinks he has enough to bring Jay-Z down. This suit in particular was filed back in October, but Jay-Z wasn't...
So just stopping there for a second, that I just wanted to bring to your attention, yes indeed, the New York law that allows you 2 year from the date of the law, 2 years previous, 2 years forward to file a lawsuit against the person who sexually assaulted you, person who raped you, anyone in with whom you never gave permission to have any sort of coital relations with, to put it in a nice way. All right, let's continue. So you have 2 years from the date of the law, the New York law, to file a suit against your accusee. Let's continue.
Named until the other day. Instead, he was referred to as Celebrity A. The suit also claimed that another celebrity stood by and watched as Combs and Carter took turns assaulting the minor. Many others were present at the after party but did nothing to stop the assault. The suit also said that Jay-Z has been with Diddy during many of his crimes, and those were the only times Jay was mentioned in the suit, for 4 particular incidents out of the 20-page suit that was largely aimed against Diddy. And for a lot of artists who over the years have built up a ton of goodwill with their fans, you'd think Jay-Z fans would come to defend him. However, because of all these strange circumstances surrounding Jay-Z, a lot of people have been looking at him sideways. The strangest thing about this whole situation is that back in November, when the attorney filing this case, Tony Busby, announced that he was representing 120 newly alleged victims, an anonymous male celebrity sued him. About 3 weeks ago, an unnamed plaintiff, who turned out to be Jay-Z, was suing Busby and his firm. He accused Busby of shamelessly attempting to extort exorbitant sums from him or else publicly file wildly false, horrific allegations against him. Jay's lawyers claim that Busby sent Jay a demand letter in which he threatened to unleash entirely fabricated and salacious allegations of sexual assault if Jay didn't comply with their demands. This does sound fairly suspicious and definitely sounds like extortion, which, if you didn't know, in this case is just threatening someone with legal action if they don't give you money. However, Rolling Stone did consult a legal expert and they weighed in on this. According to the expert, this is somewhat common, and they said, "You have a right to represent your client and demand that a potential defendant pay money to compensate your client. But you don't have a right to say, if you don't pay, I'm going to report you to the authorities." I think that's the really clear line. That's civil extortion and not protected by the First Amendment. So,
Stop there. Yes, indeed. Well said there by Matty Dubs. Let's read that again. Let me see. You have a right to represent your client and demand that a potential defendant pay you money to compensate your client. So therefore, write a demand letter, right? But if you don't, what you don't have a right to say is that if you don't pay, I'm going to report you to the authorities. So that is clearly that. I think that's really the clear line. That's civil extortion and not protected by the First Amendment. So therefore, there's a line that you can't cross. You can ask for money, but you can't say that if you don't give me money, I'm going to report you. So that's the line in which which councils must not cross in terms of asking for money from these from their accusers. But what also must be said is the fact that Jay-Z filed a cross complaint against the lawyer filed this case, saying that they are trying to shake them down. Let me see where they're trying to. Here we go. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. If the client and here we go. Yes, this is the one I want. Yes, the unnamed plaintiff describes the lawsuit as a celebrity of a public figure who resides in Los Angeles filed his complaint under a John Doe pseudonym this week in Los Angeles Superior Court. He has accused Houston-based attorney Tony Busby and his firm of shamelessly attempting to extort exorbitant sums from him or else publicly file wildly false, horrific allegations against him. So therefore, yes, the John Doe in this instance has now been revealed as being Jay-Z. So he has filed an action against Tony Busby for extortion, stating that he indeed stated that if you don't give us money, we are going to name you to the authorities. So that action's still going on. So there's not only just one complaint, there's one action going from the route of Jane Doe towards not only Jay-Z but Sean Diddy Combs, but also there's another action from Jay-Z towards the lawyer here, not Jane Doe, but actually the lawyer for shamelessly attempting to extort exorbitant sums for him, or else publicly, wildly accusing him of horrific allegations against him. So there you go. So it's a two-way street here, people. It's really a two-way street. Let's continue with this.
His legal team are saying that it was just extortion. In response to the at the time anonymous lawsuit, Busby took to Instagram to release a statement. He said, "I've been sued in Los Angeles in a last-ditch attempt to stop me from revealing names in public lawsuits. The case filed against my firm is not only without legal merit, it is laughable. Here's why. On behalf of two clients who alleged sexual assault, we sent a standard demand letter to a New York lawyer that we know represents an alleged perpetrator and potential defendant. The letters were sent seeking a confidential mediation in lieu of filing a lawsuit. No amount of money was included in the demand letters. No threats were made. The demand letters sent are no different than the ones routinely sent by lawyers across the country in all types of cases." So this whole extortion thing and the lawsuits flying back and forth makes this pretty complicated. And right now it's basically a he said, she said situation because us general folks don't have enough information to come to a good conclusion of what actually happened. We don't know what exactly Busby said in the demand letter, and we don't know all of the information that Busby has against Jay-Z. So all of this makes the lawsuit situation all the more complicated. And Jay-Z...
So do remember, this is legal posturing. This is the back and forth that lawyers go through in order to especially to state their case publicly. So this is just, handbags at 10 paces. This is lawyers just, firing at each other, saying, "Oh no, he's the wrong one for launching a claim against me. Oh, I did nothing wrong. Well, he's the one that's it's a he said she said as he said story, and it's yet to be proven in court, quite simply. And but again, these are just these are just opening salvos against each other, saying that, oh, you're the wrong one because you're the one who you're a criminal for launching a case against me, and you're the wrong one because you're accusing me of doing something that all lawyers do in any criminal case. So it's it's posturing, it's legal posturing, guys. Let's continue.
He was forced to respond swiftly. After all of this went down and the lawsuit hit the news cycle on December 8th, Jay-Z responded within hours with a statement on the Roc Nation Twitter page. He said, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt, called a demand letter, from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny."
Okay, we've gone through this. This
it
is
had
just
the opposite effect.
Again, he's recalling the letter from Jay-Z Fry's Roc Nation thing. So
fashion. So no, I will not give you.
Let's move forward.
Although some people were saying that he was just trying to spread the word and defend his name. After this came out, a lot of fans pointed out what Busby said weeks ago, and it really became a whole debate of whether or not this whole situation was just extortion. But like I said, it's really hard to call anything right now because we don't know what Busby said, we don't know what Jay-Z said or what he did, so it's hard to come to a conclusion. A lot of people also thought the addition of the last line, "I look forward to showing you just how different I am," was a pretty devious thing to say. And then just yesterday, Jay-Z's lawyers motioned for the defendant Jane Doe to reveal her identity before proceeding. This is the first legal action we have seen publicly from Jay-Z in this case, and in the motion for the plaintiff to reveal their identity, Jay's lawyers said, "For months, an extortionate campaign has been targeting Jay-Z under cover of darkness. That campaign was cynical and calculated to force payment of an exorbitant sum of money. Jay would have to pay X millions of dollars irrespective of the truth, or else." They also alleged that Busby tried to shut down Jay-Z's defense. So Jay's lawyers are calling for either the accuser to reveal her identity or for the allegations to be dismissed. Basically, they were saying that no facts had actually been provided, and this was just Busby's way of trying to use his high-profile Diddy case to extract money from other celebrities, and if they didn't pay, he'd destroy their reputations. Also, in a few of the recent cases against Diddy, the judges have ruled that the anonymous plaintiffs would also have to identify themselves, so it's possible that will have to happen here as well. Quick little editor's note. While I'm filming this video, Tony Busby tweeted out, "The New York Times contacted me to ask for my response to rapper Jay-Z's allegation that I tried to extort and blackmail him. My response is pretty straightforward. No one has made any threats. Jay-Z's assertions are bogus and laughable. Instead, our firm has sent a standard demand letter seeking a mediation on behalf of a woman who alleges Jay-Z sexually assaulted her as a minor. The letter was vetted and approved by our client, whose preference was to attempt resolution short of filing a lawsuit. This approach is common in these types of cases. What you are seeing played out now is a coordinated and desperate effort to focus the public's attention on me personally to avoid attention on the allegations being made by my clients. This effort has included harassing my family and colleagues and even offering former clients money to sue me, which is illegal. When an alleged perpetrator behaves in this manner, wildly asserting that a basic demand letter is extortion and aggressively using the media to attack the opposing lawyer while at the same time ignoring the allegations being made by the alleged victim, it reminds me of a famous line from Shakespeare, "The lady doth protest too much, methinks." We intend to address all of these issues with the court in due course. Let me be clear, we will not be bullied or intimidated by these shenanigans, and our clients won't be silenced. Meanwhile,
stopping there, ladies and gentlemen. So, as you saw by that letter, that Twitter rant by Tony Busby, it is a back and forth. It's legal posturing. It's what they do in these instances until the case can be argued. So they're trying to win points in the court of public opinion. Let's continue.
Meanwhile, Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Blue Ivy are at the premiere of Lion King, so I guess they aren't too bothered. And if you thought that was complicated, well, the case gets worse. The lawsuit is coming from the lawyer I mentioned, Tony Busby, and a lot of people online have been claiming that he isn't the greatest lawyer. Now, I'm going to say right now, before I dive into this, I'm no legal expert. I cannot tell you if he's good or bad, but I will tell you a few of the reasons that people have issues with him. For one reason, he's done a ton of high-profile cases. For example, cases against BP, Deshaun Watson, and Travis Scott. However, I did look into the Deshaun Watson and Travis Scott cases, and many of those were mostly settled confidentially. Another reason people don't like Busby is because he's a Trump supporter, which I don't think I really need to break down, and Tony Busby was also the lawyer who announced the 120 essay cases against Diddy that I mentioned earlier, and then he held a press conference to tell people about it.
As many of you know, our law firm has been at the forefront of some of the most important litigation in the United States. We like the tough cases. We thrive in the complicated cases. We've handled over the last 25 years some very big and very important cases. I believe that this one may surpass them all. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. Of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on.
And a lot of people have looked at this one of two ways. The first...
So again, this man, can he be considered an ambulance chaser? Well, he holds press conferences with a huge hotline number that you can call into to tell your story if you have any accusations against P. Diddy, Sean Combs, or anyone of that ilk who are involved in these essays, in these R's, this is not the first time he's done it before. He's done it against Travis Scott, Deshaun Jackson, BP. This man is known for going after high-profile celebrities who have been accused of sexual assault. That's his modus operandi. That's his claim to fame, quite simply, as legal counsel. Let's continue.
Being, wow, he's brave to go after the big fish. And what he's saying then lines up perfectly with what's happening now. And the other perspective is that this guy is really big on theatrics and kind of pushing his own name. To be fair, I didn't see any other lawyers against Diddy hold
as you can see,
hold press conferences for 30 minutes. And Jay-Z himself thinks,
as you can see, from that prior instance there, that little caption. You can see in the background there, a hotline that can be called into with regards to anyone involved in said suit or any sort or anyone involved in such crime. So he's procuring clients, 120 in fact in this instance, who may have been agreed so that he can seek compensation and get his cut. So again, this is it could be considered an ambulance change. So let's continue. But he's a lawyer still.
Press conferences for 30 minutes. And Jay-Z himself thinks that Tony Busby is pursuing attention and wealth. He does own a real estate firm and is fairly wealthy, which you can see all over his social media. And he also ran for office a couple of times in Houston, both unsuccessfully. I looked a bit more into this and I found out that a lot of people in Houston aren't too big on Busby. According to a few hundred people on Reddit, Tony Busby misconstrued his success as a lawyer who litigates against large companies as some kind of higher call to run for public office. He would just be a wacky, larger-than-life River Oaks lawyer if he'd kept it to that, but instead decided to insert himself into things Houstonians did not want him for. To be fair, though, he did get 28% of the vote the first time running for mayor and 41% the second time running for council, so it's not like everyone hated him. And I say all of this just to say it is possible that there are good reasons people don't like this guy, and it is possible that Jay-Z is right about what he said in his response. However, it's also just as possible that Busby is fighting the good fight for the victims. But on top of all of this, there's also been some shady foreshadowing going on when it comes to people like Diddy and Jay-Z. Originally, after everything came out about Diddy, people began looking sideways at Jay-Z, especially since he was so quiet. 50 Cent even said, Anybody seen Jay? Puff said he ain't been answering his phone. 50 also said in an interview that a lot of the celebrities who aren't speaking out like he is are probably scared since they were involved.
You have something huge coming up, which is a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah,
I know
He did it.
you've been heavy on social
No, he
media
did it.
talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy. I mean,
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
I went over all of this
Again, 50 Cent has been a huge thorn in the side of Hollywood, and especially when it comes to Sean Combs and Puff Daddy. He has made it abundantly clear that he is not their friend. He does not like what they're doing, and he has gone so far as to produce a documentary about Diddy and his issues with regards to the freak-offs and others as well, the freak-offs, rape, sexual assault, the like, on and on and on. You know what I mean. So again, this is an ongoing feud that has lasted for years, and he is the ultimate troll. Let's face facts. He is the ultimate troll, quite simply. And if there's anyone who, and he, as he said, he believes that Sean Diddy Combs and his co-conspirators, including allegedly Jay-Z, were involved in the sexual assault of and the freak-offs of many women, to which all were sworn to silence. Let's go.
in detail on my last video about Jay-Z and Beyonce, but I'll break down the main things that apply here. First of all, people thought it was strange that Jay-Z met Beyonce when she was 18 and started dating her when she was 19 because he was 31 at the time. And the second main thing that people have pointed out is Jay-Z's connections over the years to R. Kelly and P. Diddy, who are two known sex offenders. Diddy and Jay-Z have been friends since the 90s when they were both going up in the music industry. They even collaborated on a track in 1997. On top of that, these two were also connected to Aaliyah and R. Kelly, who were married when Aaliyah was only 15. Dame Dash, who co-founded Rockefeller Records with Jay-Z and dated Aaliyah when she was of age, said he thought it was morally wrong for Jay-Z to do a collab album with R. Kelly when he did. Dame said, "It's morally wrong to do a project with someone that we know raped my girl or raped anybody for that matter." He also said Jay-Z tried getting at Aaliyah too.
And then, I guess Jay was trying to get at her as well, and I didn't know. And then, it got brought up, and I was like, "Fuck both of y'all." But it never worked out for them, and we were both trying to get at her. I kind of eased up, but then we ran into each other. It's a long story.
So you and Jay was both getting at Aaliyah, obviously.
Everybody was getting at Aaliyah, bro.
Right.
So there was undoubtedly some shady stuff going down in their circle, as Jay-Z was friends with P. Diddy and R. Kelly. And it's possible that Jay-Z knew about some of the stuff that was going on. Things got even more complicated when...
Okay, just before we get into, I think you know this lady. Yeah, Dame Dash is not a fan of Jay-Z either. Clearly he is the breakup of Rockefeller, his main source of income, didn't exactly sit well with Dame Dash. No, it also didn't sit well is the fact that, he tried to get after his girl Aaliyah. And the third thing was, there are four things really. He and R. Kelly collaborated on an album, The Best of Both Worlds. I remember that album was quite good, actually. And also, the fact that R. Kelly eventually married Aaliyah. Which didn't exactly make Dame Dash well pleased. So again, he was stamped down and crapped on quite simply both by Jay-Z and R. Kelly. So to see a untimely end in terms of the success of Jay-Z would, please Dame Dash to no end. Let's continue. And we get to this lady. She's been here before. Let's continue. Both of these people have been here before. Let's continue.
About a month ago, Piers Morgan had a guest on named Jaguar Wright, who's a singer who's worked with Jay-Z. And he had her on his show to discuss the Diddy situation. And it was on this episode that she brought up Jay-Z and Beyonce's involvement.
Dream Hampton spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which it fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail, get his lick back. Why is nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there.
To be clear,
Again, these are all allegations. This is not true. So, I mean, these are all allegations that have to be put to proof in the court of law. So, and Jaguar has been able to, do quite well by making these accusations against Jay-Z, against P. Diddy, and many others in the music industry. Let's continue.
Didn't find any articles funding this docuseries, by the way, but I did see a few articles that said Jay-Z declined to be interviewed for the show. Jaguar also said in this interview that Jay-Z and Beyonce are a nasty couple who do nasty things. Now, before I tell you what followed this interview, I want to tell you a little bit about Jaguar Wright. In my previous video, I mentioned that Jaguar has made a ton of crazy claims, many of which have gone nowhere, so I wouldn't count on her to be the most credible source, although she has gotten some things right. But it's also possible that she does know something. One person on Reddit said it pretty well when they said, she might be right about some of this stuff regarding Diddy, but I'm guessing a lot of it was already known in the music industry. And even a broken clock like Jaguar Wright is right twice a day. Regardless, following her interview on Piers Morgan, Jay-Z and Beyonce's lawyers reached out to Piers. They said Piers Morgan's irresponsible broadcast filled with lies is so far over the line that a legal ultimatum was warranted. Nobody acting under the guise of journalism can elicit outrageous statements from exploitive situations in an effort to drive clicks and not have to answer for that.
Stop there. Listen, let me make this perfectly clear. Jay-Z is quite litigious. When I say litigious, he likes going to his legal counsel on any allegation made against him and say, you know what, I don't like what he had to say. Issue a statement and have them retract it, or else we're going to sue. He is very, very, very litigious. He is extremely protective of his brand, and any sort of launch against him, he is immediately at a lawyer's office saying, get this off. Take this away. Do what you need to do, but I don't want to hear this in the public eye, because he's very protective of what he holds most dear. We have a comment here from Lana BK. 100%. She knows stuff. People like to write off crazy case in point, Dave Chappelle and Cat Williams. Lana, thank you for your comment. Again, this has to be put to proof. She has made a lot of accusations against a lot of stars, and yet has been put to proof, as has been shown in this, as has been shown by this video here by Maddie Dubs. However, as Maddie Dubs says, a clock can be right twice a day. So, she on certain things she's hit off on. I would say, including Diddy, very much hit off on. But I think she is one of the biggest accusers of Jay-Z that there are, because she's worked with Jay-Z in the past, as will be seen in this video. But thank you very much for your comments, and we'll continue.
Because of this, Piers Morgan actually apologized and trimmed the segment from his show.
Well, last week I interviewed Jaguar Wright, a singer-songwriter who's made claims about Diddy for years. Those claims had already received a lot of attention in the media across many platforms for many years. And that's the thing about platforms. The reality of the modern world is that pretty much everyone has a platform, as long as they have something to say that other people want to hear. That's why we invited her on to be interviewed. The people making these claims have an audience with or without shows like mine. Well, Jaguar Wright unexpectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce during that interview. As I said in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves. But now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact, and we've therefore complied with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored. But, like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too. And we apologise to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Again,
Such is the power. If you can get a guy like Piers Morgan to issue a public apology, you know the power of Jay-Z. This man here don't play. And he is very litigious, and he's highly connected. Piers Morgan to a R. Kelly or to a P. Diddy would have easily aired that interview with Jaguar Wright. With Jay-Z, back off. Okay, I'll back off. No worries. Believe me. Jay-Z is a very powerful man, a very litigious man, and it must not be. And remember, Piers Morgan's already said it. He would not take such an edit of his show lightly, but in this case, he had to. Reason being is because he knows good and well that this man is high powered and can launch an attack at any time, and believe me, it will stick. He's one of the few black men in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry, in the music industry, who can do that. Who can literally tell a show such as Piers Morgan Uncensored, which is in the public sphere, a pretty reputable show, to back off, and they will. Such is the power of Jay-Z. Let's continue.
To cut them from the original interview. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored. But, like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too. And we apologise to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Again, to get an apology from Piers Morgan to Jay-Z and Beyonce. Such is the power they wield. You don't get that easily, but Jay-Z did. Let's continue.
There are two main ways to take this. One, Beyonce and Jay-Z didn't want crazy, disrespectful misinformation like this on the internet, or they really did what Jaguar was saying and were trying to keep it quiet. Regardless, this only made the situation bigger, and around this time, Jaguar Wright also went on Real Life Productions for another interview.
We're going to come back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, let's just going to stop this here. Oh, wow. How did that happen? I didn't want that to happen at all. Wow. Oh, wow. Didn't want that to happen at all. Let's see. Video. Okay, the video's still here. Excellent. So yes. Oh, damn it. Yes, indeed. We're still live on Talk Live here. We just had to recalibrate our. Here we go. We're back on Talk Live on IG and YouTube. We're just going into the final hour of the Jaguar Wright and of the video from Matty Balls. This is Matty Balls here, and the video, every allegation made against Jay-Z, and the segment out regarding Jaguar Wright. We're nearly finished up here. We have the final hour here. It won't be longer than 20 minutes. I think we'll be out of here by 11:30, quite simply. So stay with us as we finish this video, and then get my take on certain things, and also add a piece from another person with an opinion on this, and along the way as well. So let's continue. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let's go.
Hours worth of more huge claims, and also spoke on the theory that Jay-Z and Beyonce were involved in the death of Aaliyah.
I want you to think about this. Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane, to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who was a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who was a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Allegedly.
This TikTok in particular got 15 million views with damn near every comment saying they believe her. And whether or not you believe Jaguar is entirely up to you, but she's been making a ton of headlines for her claims. And all of this happened about a month or so before the lawsuit came out against Jay-Z, along with Jay-Z's claims of extortion, which brings us to where we are today. Right now, there are two main schools of thought. First, there is the group of people I mentioned that are cross-referencing Jay-Z's friendship with people like Diddy and R. Kelly. There are a ton of Twitter threads with people talking about all of the Jay-Z suspicious incidents and all of his friendships over the years. One fan said Jay-Z has 2 albums with R. Kelly and a whole tour with him and is close friends with him, Diddy, and Harvey Weinstein, but there's suddenly no way he could be a predator because he's married to Beyonce. Another said that message Jay-Z posted was condescending, narcissistic, and used victim-blaming and gaslighting rhetoric, and he never not once said he didn't do it. I hope he goes down bad. A lot of people think that this super quick response means that they knew this was coming and are guilty, so this was prepared in advance. On the flip side, the other major group is the people who think Jay-Z is innocent, or should at least be innocent until proven guilty when more information comes out. This is for a few reasons. For example, Ebro said in defense of Jay-Z, Jay wrote this 32 minutes ago on his iPhone and no one is speaking on his behalf. A lot of people, along with Ebro, think that this response from Jay-Z is just genuine and from the heart, and to be fair, it doesn't seem to be written in your typical PR-trained way. Another fan said in response to Ebro's tweet, Jay-Z knew this was coming. I'm sure his legal team was notified that this was coming his way, and he had this prepared days/weeks in advance by his legal counsel. People on his level don't get blindsided by shit like this, which is also true. Lil Duval said on Twitter, they put out the most outrageous accusations and y'all just automatically believe it. Like I said, there's also a ton of people calling out the lawyer, Tony Busby, with one person saying, a civil lawsuit involving Tony Busby, so you know it's bullshit. But a huge portion of the population is stupid and is gonna lean on confirmation bias with this. There's also a third school of thought, with people like 50 Cent jumping in, trolling, talking about, okay, I don't know what's going on, but are we still gonna have the Super Bowl? I'm just asking for a friend. Other people are pointing out Bron saying Hove did and saying Jay-Z got 100 problems now. The internet, of course, is doing what they're always going to do. Regardless of which school of thought you fall into or whoever side you're taking, I'm just here to bring you guys the facts and tell you what the situation is, along with bringing you everyone else's perspectives. In my opinion, as with everything else that's in the media cycle, I think it's best to just let everything play out in the legal system and use our best judgment and not like jump to conclusions right away. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Excellent point raised there by Matty Balls, ladies and gentlemen, and that is this. There are two schools of thought. He's absolutely right. Those who believe everything that has been that Jay-Z has been accused of, that he's a part of this cabal of silence and SA and R and freak-offs and victims and Aaliyah conspirators. You'll always have that. You'll always have those who. You'll always have those believers. Also, there's the other side of those who are waiting to hear what evidence is created, waiting on the court action to begin, and what can be revealed, and waiting on judgment before they cast judgment. And I think that is what we all must do here in this instance, and wait until a man has his day in court, and he is innocent until proven guilty, and not through the court of public opinion. But thank you very much to Matty Balls here. He is doing wonderful things on YouTube. So you like and subscribe to him. I just subscribed to him, and yeah, his investigation of these proceedings has been thorough, has been granular, and quite simply top notch. So subscribe to Matty Balls, who gave a very balanced view of what has gone on in this case thus far. So let us go finally to what Fresh and Fit have to say. Now it's very short, very, very, very short, and then we're going to come to the conclusion of the show. In that, what he is predicting what can happen if this gets to a criminal level, and if Jay-Z is indeed, is found to be liable for any damages against Jane Doe with regards to the sexual assault, and he puts it out there simple and plain, and but again, very, very short and sweet. So let's get into what Myron had to say here on Fresh and Fit on his Night Train episode here, doing wonderful things, and I mean fantastic things on YouTube and Rumble Streets. Up to 1 million subscribers on YouTube, up to about, I think, 500,000. He's a pure man of the people, and again, people. He has his detractors, he has his people who don't like him, but I certainly do. But again, I think he has an interesting take on what can happen to Jay-Z in future going forward. So let's hear what he has to say in regards to this.
Now that we talked about his rap career, right, that he is a rap legend and he will go down in history, now let's talk about the Diddy case, all right? No, someone said Myron doesn't listen to rap. No, I don't listen to current rap. It's trash.
And neither do I, unless it's a certain selective, individuals such as Kendrick Lamar. I certainly listen to Drake. I certainly listen to. I certainly listen to Kanye West, who I think is a genius. But again, yes, for many in the rap industry these days, it is not like it used to be. Definitely not. Let's continue.
Yeah, some dumbass said, I don't know a single quote from Jay. Well, you're just dumb, bro. Okay. So here's my thing, right? With Jay-Z and Diddy, right? So if I'm the HSI case agent, right? Let's go into an imaginary world. These allegations come out. I'm the HSI case agent that's handling Diddy's case, right? Out of HSI New York. I'm going to go talk to that girl immediately. I'm figuring out who this Jane Doe is. I'm going to go talk to her. You need to tell me everything that went down on that night at the awards and the after party. Diddy was a witness. Who else was there, right? Then, once I get her statement and I'm able to get corroborating people, I'm going to go to Diddy at the jail. Obviously, his lawyer's going to be present. I'm like, look, bro, I'm going to throw you a bone. Was Hov there? And if he was, are you willing to testify? If he says yes, that will go a long ways towards helping his fucking case. All right? If these allegations are true. If these allegations are true. So, if Hov actually did this, Diddy needs to cooperate. And not only cooperate, but obviously prove it. Because apparently there was a woman there and there were other witnesses there. If they can get multiple witnesses to corroborate this, there could be a criminal case made against Jay-Z. Now again, we know the nature of these lawsuits a lot of times is to get money, right? So, I don't know. I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't know. I'm just talking to you guys about the criminal case. Hip-hop, and the reason why I did this, right, well, the reason why I told you guys, like, I wanted to disclose where I see Jay-Z as a rapper is I wanted to let you guys know, look, I respect his music career. I do think he's a top 10 rapper. However, I'm being objective here, and I'm telling you guys, from a criminal perspective, a criminal case perspective, Diddy might have just got a fucking lifeline. If Hov was there, and Diddy and other credible witnesses can point him as to being there, and they're able to see other corroborating evidence, maybe it was a hotel party at, on a certain day, or, Diddy had a lot of fucking video. If he has this on video, Jay is cooked, and Diddy's gonna get time off. That's what's gonna happen.
So let's break that down quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Jay-Z has something to think about here, in the sense of, yes, he's going to defend himself to the full extent of the law, but what is key in this instance are those tapes that were taken into custody by the U.S. Attorney's Office in terms of Diddy's criminal action. If Jay-Z are on those tapes, and if Diddy can corroborate the fact that Jay-Z was involved in these freak-offs, there could be trouble ahead for Jay-Z. There can be trouble ahead for Jay-Z. That's how important those tapes are with regards to Diddy's case, because a lot of people can get nailed legally for their crimes against, well, their lack of permission against, and their sexual assaults against those women involved in those freak-offs. That's how serious it can get. Now, if Jane Doe and her counsel are able to obtain evidence to, obtain a judgment with regards to their lawsuit of Jay-Z, that can again raise questions as to if a criminal action can be launched against Jay-Z, as it did for Diddy, because Diddy had Cassie Ventura, and Diddy had the video evidence, and Diddy had this other lawsuits, including the producer whose name I forget. He launched a lawsuit against him, so he had a lot of people stating that Diddy committed sexual crimes against them, and they had video evidence of that fact as well. So Diddy's level of evidence was, well, huge. Now, again, if it can be found through those videotapes that Jay-Z was involved in the crime of raping individuals, that could be another problem. But this is a totally different thing. Remember, this is talking about a crime that happened in 2000 to one woman at the VMA Awards. So there couldn't be any video evidence. There can be no video evidence of that if found through discovery. There may not be any evidence of that at all. So therefore, Jay may be able to get off this time around. And remember, the case against Diddy was just simply against Diddy. It wasn't against Jay-Z. He wasn't a named defendant in that action. So it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a bit of evidence and a bit of digging through to find out if Jay-Z was involved on those tapes and what he was doing in those tapes. And another action can be launched to that effect. However, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a very high amount of a high burden of proof to prove that indeed, just because you're in the video doesn't mean that you were indeed out there, committing sexual assaults or involved in unconsensual sex. So, but again, this is a way in which Jay-Z could be caught. Is what Myron said here, is the fact that if Tony Busby and Jane Doe were able to obtain evidence against Jay-Z, because again, this is something that P. Diddy was involved with, and then P. Diddy can roll on Jay-Z, it can limit his time with regards to his crimes against Cassie Ventura and these freak-offs and other things. So there can a deal can be made. But again, it remains to be seen if that's the case. So thank you very much to Myron from Fresh and Fit for bringing us to that conclusion, in the fact that Jay-Z can still be in trouble if Diddy rolls on him and can testify to be a witness against Jay-Z to limit his time behind bars if so convicted. So thank you very much for that. So again, let's get back to myself, and I'll give you my take on things. But thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let me go back to the full cam, and let's just say this. Jay-Z has his right to due process. He has a right to right to trial. He has a right to be innocent until proven guilty, or to have evidence put to proof showing that he was indeed liable to this Jane Doe with regards to any sort of rape or sexual assault accusations that happened in 2000. Now, there's a high mountain of evidence there, so that involved Jane Doe, and it's up to Tony Busby to prove that in a court of law, because again, the posturing has already begun, and no one's giving any quarter. And Jay-Z is certainly not confessing to that, because as litigious as he is. So, my take on things is this. Jay-Z is indeed innocent until proven guilty. He has a wife, he has a family. He is not known to be a playboy, a carouser, a man who's involved with many women. Now, again, this could be wrong. This could not be true, and it's available to be put to proof. This must be put to proof. However, it must be said the lifestyle that Jay-Z lives is, well, totally different from the one he's being accused of, and that was light years away. This is before, I believe, before he met Beyonce, before the time he became a family man, before any of these things. So we do not know if indeed these issues can be brought to light in a court of law, quite simply. And until Jay-Z is proven not guilty, but proven liable, he is innocent. He is not liable. And it's up to the lawyer to do that. So I'm going to believe what Jay-Z has to say. I'm going to believe that indeed he has a right to defend his reputation. He has a right to defend his family. He has a right to due process. He has a right to having his day in court. And until that day happens, he's an innocent man. He is an innocent man. And no matter what you say with regards to his past dealings with women and how he carries himself in public, the fact of the matter is he is liable to his day in. He is totally allowed to have his day in court and be innocent until that day happens. So I don't think his life should be shortened. I don't think the fruit of his good work should be taken away. He should be allowed to carry on his life as per usual. Because again, this is something that happened 24 years ago. Now, the statute of limitations has been open for the last 2 years in order to let this in. However, until he has that time in court, the fact of the matter is, he's an innocent man. Jay-Z is an innocent man. No matter what you say, no matter what you think of him, no matter what you think of his business practices, the fact of the matter is, he is available to have his case being brought to court, and anyone who's making such allegations, yeah, he's allowed to bring them into court as well. We have a request into a video. We're gonna see about this. I'm gonna go live with King Olin just for a few minutes and see what he has to say here. Let me see where it is here. Let me see. Yes, indeed. Accept. Yes. Go live. Yes, indeed. Has he gone live? I don't know what happened. King Onan, I'm trying to accept your lives here. I'm trying to accept the lives here. Can you make another request? I'm trying to see it here. I'm trying to go live with you, but it's not happening. Why is it not happening? Except go live. King Oni, you gotta make another request to me, buddy. Make her another request, and we're gonna try and get you on live quite quickly. But again, I don't know what happened there. Anyways, I'm trying to go live with you, buddy, but it's not happening. I don't know what it is. But anyways, that's the long and the short of things. I'm going to see if King Onan can come on live with me. If not, we're going to end the show here. It remains to be seen what evidence can be brought forth. The posturing has begun. And, no matter what you think of Jay-Z's past and what you think of his relationships with Diddy, with R. Kelly, with Dame Dash, with 50 Cent, or anyone, the fact of the matter is this man is allowed due process and allowed to have his day to argue matters in court, and so he should be given that opportunity. Let me see if one more try for King Onan. One more try. I'm trying to go live with this man here, and it's not happening. I don't know what it is. I am not happening. Okay, there he goes. Finally, yes. Okay, he's here. There he is. He's finally here. Okay, King Onan is here. King Onan is here. Where are you, sir? Hold on. Let me just move this camera.
I just finished a workout.
Oh, you just finished a workout. Okay.
I just here at this facility here, beautiful facility. Give me a second here.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been listening to what you're saying. I find it really interesting how these allegations are always coming out years and decades after.
Yes.
24 years have passed.
24 years, yes.
And now we're hearing this about Jay-Z, right? Diddy. The interesting thing about Diddy, I'm not defending him, is if you remember, it was Homeland Security that actually raided his house. It wasn't the feds.
That's right.
Normally you have an indictment. It comes from the federal government. And the FBI raids your house to get information, right? Or get the documents or whatever they want. Homeland Security did that. Nobody's ever talked about that. Why? Because I believe that Diddy had evidence on a lot of people. And because he had many cameras in his house. So when he was having these freak-offs, he wasn't having them alone. There's many people that were involved. And many people are probably on those tapes that are trying to protect their asses.
Right.
But when we look at Jay-Z, it's 24 years later. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what I find really interesting, brother?
Yes.
E-Rock, I find it that it's almost like every successful black man is a target. Cosby, Diddy, Jay-Z, Chappelle.
Yeah.
Every time you always hearing R. Kelly, and I'm not saying they're all innocent. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying.
Well, not so much Chappelle. Chappelle was. Harvey Weinstein's another one. Yeah.
Weinstein was in the news for a while. You don't hear about him.
Jeffrey Epstein as well. He too was.
Jeffrey Epstein. And he had a lot of documents. Because remember, Jeffrey Epstein kept detailed logs.
Yes, indeed.
Whoever was on his plane and whoever went to his island.
Yeah, right.
Roman Polanski, didn't he sexually assault the 13-year-old? He's hiding out in France.
Oh, yeah, that's why I'll never return to the United States. Excellent point. Yes.
They just bring him over from France and bring him over and try him. It just seems to be this narrative of let's go after all these rich, successful, powerful black men and topple them like dominoes. This is what I'm seeing. I'm not making it a case of race. I'm just making it a fact of what I keep seeing.
Yeah.
The narrative, right?
Yeah. Well, again, as you pointed out with Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, Roman Polanski, those are three very powerful white dudes. And we're not talking, just being devil's advocate here, we're not talking about the thousands of men who have been, who may not be in the public eye, who were involved in such proceedings as well. So it is a, you want to turn down your sound there, buddy? I'm getting feedback there. There you go. Yeah, that's better. Perfect. So it's really, I think it's a case of, as Cat Williams said, all big dick deviants they're coming for everyone in 2024 and now into 2025. And, everybody who was accused of sexual assault, I think the Me Too movement have brought it to the fore and made it so that you have laws such as in New York where from the date of the new amendment, sexual assault law in New York State, you can go 2 years hence in order to file a lawsuit for past crimes, and it's been the same in Philadelphia with regards to Bill, in the state of Pennsylvania with regards to Bill Cosby. Although Bill Cosby did a deal to not have criminal actions against him once he confessed to once he was prosecuted. So that gave him a short amount of time in order to get out of there. So again, credit to his legal counsel, who were black themselves, of getting him off of said criminal actions. However, the damage was done, and his reputation sullied.
I like you brought up Cosby, because here's the thing about Cosby. Right? So when Bill Cosby had that relationship with the woman he was accused of, right?
Yes.
I can't remember her name, but she's a Canadian woman. I know this woman was in a relationship with Bill Cosby. She asked for something to be given to her so she could get her moved. She went to his house, had dinner with him, with her mother, had her grad school paid for by Cosby, and even wrote a letter to the grad school. Because remember, at that time, Bill Cosby, you could have been a D average student, but Bill Cosby writes you a letter and says, I recommend you to grad school. You're getting in.
Yeah.
Plus fame.
Yeah.
So she's going to ride all through, right? Now, here's the point, though. When he went to the deposition in the case, the document was sealed in Pennsylvania. I think it was Pennsylvania or Massachusetts. It was sealed. So it was not supposed to be open. The prosecutor and the judge apparently had a beef. So the prosecutor said, well, this has to be sealed. The judge says, no, it has not to be sealed. I'm unsealing this. So he unsealed it and had a trial. This is why Cosby got off.
Yeah, on a technicality, absolutely, yeah.
It violated his constitutional rights, his Fifth Amendment.
That's right.
He has the right to say, plead the fifth, and he waived it. He goes, I will speak in my own deposition, and I will give testimony as to my side. He goes, and they said, we'll seal it. And it was supposed to be sealed out here.
Absolutely, yes.
It was supposed to be sealed.
Yes.
He was never supposed to go to court. The judge goes, well, no, we're having this trial.
That's right.
He's running through.
That's right.
After he got off, I was like, why did he got off? I go, because his constitutional rights were violated.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. His constitutional rights were violated, and with that technicality, he was, yeah.
And I read the documents there. There's nothing about rape. There's nothing about anything. If you read the whole deposition, I read it. There's nothing about that. There was sexual, there was miscarriage, maybe of sexual conduct or whatever. There was nothing rape. It was all consensual. The woman consented to this. She was not raped.
Right.
This is a woman who took her mother to his house.
Right.
Dealing with his family.
Right.
Got a letter from him to grad school and got her grad school paid for. Then they used that only case they could find against Cosby, which was that case, because she was closest to him. Many of the other women that they brought forward were not credible. One woman had said that Bill Cosby had violated her during the taping of the Johnny Carson show, and if you go back, Bill Cosby didn't even appear on the show that night. It was when Gloria Allred, I call her Allred.
Allred, yeah, Allred, yeah.
Allred said, hey, she actually put forward saying, there's a $100 million class action suit against Bill Cosby. If you feel that you've been violated, let's go. And all these women said, oh, okay, I'm going to get paid. And some of them were paid in advance by the defense and said, oh, let's go. And that's why you had all these women coming out, because they were going to get money.
Well, that's exactly what's happening here in this matter, isn't it? With Tony Busby and his 120 plaintiffs. Yeah.
So the young woman at the time of the assault was 13. 24 years have gone by, right? So
yeah.
She would be about 37.
37 now, yeah, 37.
My math is right. So 24, you've waited almost 2.5 decades to bring this forward. Why wasn't this brought forward before?
Absolutely, absolutely.
It was done not on her account, but we done in the prosecutions, right? So we should have been done 24 years ago on the state of the prosecution, right? Am I right?
Right, yeah, 24 years.
So why now?
Why indeed now? I think it's simply because P. Diddy was a named assailant in this action, and one of those people who called in and said, "I've been assaulted," accused Jay-Z of said crime in 2000, and so he was named as a defendant in this action. It was simply a dragnet to get Diddy, but then this woman said, "Oh, Jay-Z also raped me." So Tony Busby turned around and said, "You know what? We're going to sue Jay-Z as well." and again, it's really in this case circumstantial until the evidence comes out, but it's sort of a convenient way of getting two big fish at once, and one fish being bigger than the other, that being Jay-Z being bigger than Diddy. But the fact of the matter is, if you can get two entertainment moguls such as Jay-Z and Diddy on an action and be able to bring them to book and have them pay out certain fees, the fact of the matter is you're a winner regardless. And so basically I see Tony Busby as trying his luck. He's really trying his luck. But I just wanted to. So at the end of the day, what do you think of this action that against Jay-Z? Do you think it's frivolous for the most part? Are you on the side of Jay-Z on this action? What's your take?
It's hard for me to say. I can't. I'm gonna go with the way the law works. You're innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
And I'm gonna go with that. But as I was telling a friend of mine last week, a couple of weeks ago, I had said, don't be surprised if Jay-Z's next.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised, because there's a circle out of events they're going through. They're picking off certain people, and they're targeting certain people to say this and this and this and this. Diddy, it's very interesting with that case, because I go back to it and say, why people don't look at what was going on. Homeland Security does not perform raids.
Right.
It's the feds that perform raids.
Exactly.
Why
Yeah.
was Homeland Security raiding his house? Why were they only looking for tapes and evidence?
I think the smoking gun. I think the smoking gun was Cassie Ventura. I think it was Cassie. I think she was their star witness. I think she knew the grounds Diddy was on in terms of Star Island and Miami and in Los Angeles. She knew both. She knew that that Diddy was filming these freak offs. That Diddy was filming the sexual encounters with her. That when they were flying men in allegedly to have freak offs with her. So she was a star witness. I don't think there's any such. Well, you have this 13-year-old, yes, and much to be said about the parents, but there's no such huge witness like Cassie in this case. There's no sort of pattern of behavior that Diddy had in where Cassie saw it all. She was there to see the freak off. She was there to see the sexual assaults against her. She was there to.
She was probably involved.
And well, she may have been she may have been compliant to that, but the fact of the matter is, what really shut the door on Diddy was the fact that when that civil suit for Diddy came about, within 24 hours she got a $30 million, and that's it. And so that alerted the U.S. Attorney's Office and said, "Wait a minute, why did you get that money so quickly? Can you be a star witness to us against Diddy in a criminal action?" Yes, and here we are. And here we are. You know what I mean? So again, I don't think there's any such smoking gun in Jay-Z's in Jay-Z's in Jay-Z's circumstances here. Not only that, was he a real participant in these freak-offs? I mean, the video evidence will show that, if at all. But again, that's a totally separate action, and he's being accused of this crime in 2000, which is, I think, bodes well for Jay-Z in this instance. And as I've already talked about tonight, Jay-Z's very litigious and he's very protective of his brand. So I really think that this is something that will be fought vigorously. And as Jay-Z has said, he's not going to pay what Red said. So we're going to leave it there. Richard, thank you very much for coming by. But again, I appreciate you jumping on with me. We had a little issue discussion there, but again, I really appreciate you coming down and giving your take on things.
No problem, man. I'll be joining you again. Look for everybody out there. Look for me more.
Yes, look for my man. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. Look out for King Onan on Talk Live very, very soon. Thank you very much for joining me. And again, we'll speak soon, my friend. Peace. All right. So, no. we're gonna end it here. There we go. Yeah, he's off. There he goes. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's how we end things on Talk Live. We haven't had a call in with King Owen in a while, so that was really great to see. Again, but thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. Again, it remains to be seen what will happen in a court of law. You may not have seen that here on YouTube, but I hope you heard what the discussion we had to say here. But again, thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live, and thank you for King Onan for stopping by and giving his take on things. But again, we look forward to another show tomorrow night here on Talk Live. We're going a full week, yes indeed. 3 days a week. We'll see about 4, but we're going for 3 days right now. And yeah, we're going to be discussing more issues of the day. But let's see how this Jay-Z lawsuit will play out, and let due process take its course. Thank you very much for joining me in Talk Live. Look forward to joining you again tomorrow night with a new show. And I have an idea what the show is, but I am not going to announce it until I fully flesh it out. But thank you very much for joining me in Talk Live, and we'll see you all very soon. And good night from Toronto on IG. Thank you very much for joining me in Talk Live on YouTube. That was really a great, involved episode there. It lasted, 2 odd hours. But again, I think it was very well done, very well processed out. And thank you very much for King Onan for jumping on with me here tonight. You may not have seen that here on Talk Live on YouTube, but we're going to try and get that uploaded to Instagram. Well, a second. To IG, to Instagram, to YouTube as a short. So hopefully we'll have that have a piece of that discussion then. And I thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let's see what happens in this suit. He's innocent until proven guilty in my estimation, and from all intents and purposes, Jay-Z has not shown me any reason to doubt him with regards to these allegations.